ENCA Shloni Mtunkulu is keeping a close eye on that case, and she joins us now live. Shloni, what can you tell us about the background to this case coming to the fore right now?
Okay, well, morning, Marcel. So, Solidarity did hand court papers over to those federations and the Minister of Sport in May 2017. So this is almost 2 years later that this is coming to court, but they are arguing against what they call the implementation of sports quotas based on the Sports Transformation Charter of 2012. That charter was the background for it was set out in November 2011, where at a sports endeavor they decided that to address or redress the past, to redress the issues of the past, that they needed to have this transformation charter, which was then adopted in 2012. We know that, of course, this goes into the work of the EPG, the Eminent Persons Group report, the annual EPG report that happens. And we know that a few years ago, I think it was in 2016, the then Sports Minister, Fikile Mbalula, did put a ban on sports federations from...
Shloni, if you can still hear me, we can still hear you, so you can continue. You're telling us exactly why Solidarity is objecting to the implementation of that transformation charter, or quotas, as some would call them.
Yeah, so in 2016, the then sports minister did put a ban on sports federations from bidding for hosting World Cups and other tournaments because they weren't meeting those transformation targets that they had set. And in the light of that, then a transformation barometer was set up by federations who were saying that these other, the quotas essentially, or the other targets that were set weren't something that they could live up to. But with the transformation barometer, they then set themselves targets which they say that they can work towards. But Solidarity is fighting against this, saying that it is discriminating, and it discriminates rather against certain athletes. But they're also fighting that it's not only just athletes but also in administration, because we know that according to the EPG, it's not just the sporting teams themselves or on the field that things need to change, but also in terms of admin and the makeup of boards and that sort of thing. So we'll hear this, and Solidarity that is say that they want to put an end to sports quotas or transformation in that sense, so that when players are chosen, it can be based on merit.
Shloni, you and I both know from covering various sports, especially the major sports in South Africa, that often teams made up of a number of players, including black sports people, who are there on merit. And when a result doesn't go a certain way, we have people on social media going after players and sports people of color, blaming them for everything. That in itself proves that race is indeed still an issue and needs to be addressed. And a transformation charter is still necessary, even in 2019.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot, and I mean, we saw it very recently now when the Proteas lost in that test series to Sri Lanka, that there were calls for some players to be dropped, and there were questions around the makeup of that team, and that happens a lot even with the rugby squad as well. We know when the incoming series comes in June, we know that at the end of the year when they play their outgoing series as well, that should the Proteas, what we've seen on social media is that should the Springboks or should the Proteas lose, as you say, that then it becomes an issue of, oh, this team is losing because of the makeup of the team, not because of how they've played and how the team has played. Which is interesting in the sense that when you look at the makeup of the rugby team now, or the 2018 rugby team now, it isn't what SA Rugby have said that they are targeting for 2019. They did say to the sports minister that by the end of 2019, in December 2019, they are targeting a 50% black representation, and that means that essentially working up towards the World Cup, this year's World Cup, that they are looking at that 50% makeup of the World Cup squad. That isn't happening yet, and yet, of course, all this still does happen when they do lose. It's the same with the Proteas, where the squad isn't quite 50% black, but when you look at when results don't go South Africa's way, on social media especially, I suppose for Solidarity, though, it isn't just about social media, but they are fighting that. They are saying that some players are being discriminated against because they know of players who have been discriminated against, or players who've approached them to say that we feel that we've been discriminated against, and that's why we need to change this.
Well, as with all things around transformation in South Africa, it is indeed complex. Shloni Mtunkulu reporting to us live there.